Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of The Average Uninformed. Captain Marvel released this past Friday, so if you're wondering what we thought about the movie, then you came to the right episode. Sit back, grab a drink, and enjoy.
You sweaty? Feel sweaty. Is it visible?
Not on that side. A little bit on that side.
This side? The light is on this side, so it's visible.
Was it because the movie gave you sweats?
No, it was a full theater.
Was it the hot dog?
Here come the meat sweats. No. I don't know.
How are you this week, Josh?
I'm okay. It feels like 8 years since the last episode. It was a long week for me. Started a new show at work and have a lot of spare time.
I hope no one at work.
It's not that challenging.
I hope no one at work is listening to this.
Hey, it's their own fault. They told me everything was due in 2 weeks, and then at the end of the first week told me everything was due in 4 weeks. So
Okay.
I had finished half my work, so it's like, oh, well, guess I'll just do other stuff then. Take my time with this.
Well, it's probably a good thing too. First bit of the show.
Yeah.
I have no idea how your show works. I'm assuming it's like any other project.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. Chill beginning is probably a good thing.
Probably. Victor, how you doing this week?
Oh, it's also been a long week.
Yeah?
Yeah. Devil May Cry 5 comes out tomorrow. Or for us, or for me, an hour and 29 minutes. Yeah, I'm just counting down the times.
The podcast is going to end in an hour and 29 minutes, whether we're done or not. That's exciting for you.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm pretty pumped. It's been, looked it up since number 4 came out, 11 years.
That is a long time.
Yeah. And they're supposedly supposed to conclude the story up with this one. So not that there was a story to really conclude, but yeah, some few character tie-ins.
Okay.
But whatever. What you got for news over there? Looks like you got a few sticky notes.
I do have some news. You want to talk about some trailers?
Oh, yeah.
I actually wanted to rewatch these before we started the podcast, but I forgot completely about it.
That's all right. We'll just go with it.
You want to go with it? All right. You want to talk about Dark Pheonix? We saw that one tonight, so we can start with that one.
Yeah. I love seeing trailers for movies that I don't care for and for movie series that are going to end.
Yeah. I am excited that this is the last one because it's not really floating my boat. Don't like the look of this one.
Yeah, I don't know. There's nothing. I can't.
Well, how about the fact that they blatantly show that they kill Mystique in the movie?
Yeah.
They're just not even trying to hide it. It's like they go through the entire scene and they might as well just put a big title card on after that says Mystique dies in this movie, by the way. Because they just show it. She just the trailer starts with Jean being like, "Why did you kill Mystique? That was a bad move." And then the next shot is Mystique being like, "Hey, I'm your friend. You can calm down." And she's like, "Yeah, I'll calm down or not," and pushes her through a building. Then the next shot is them all at a funeral. And it's like, oh, okay. So that's just going to happen.
Was Mystique's hair always that red?
No. It looks bad.
Oh, I like it.
It looks very comic-like, but it looks very wig-like. You know what I mean?
I was hoping for the X-Men movie because they don the blue and yellow suits again. I was hoping there'd be some shots where they kind of take the a more artistic approach where they kind of desaturate the scene, but then only the yellow show through very prominently.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Maybe. I guess I have to watch it, don't I? I
mean, I'm going to watch this movie. I would watch it even if we weren't going to talk about it on the podcast because I've been following these movies since, 2000? The first one came out? Something like that? 1999 maybe?
You're allowed to stop.
Well, it's just I am invested in them, and it is something that was kind of the renaissance for me of getting back into comics and superheroes and stuff. So
can you imagine at the end of this movie, they just kill everyone?
I would love that.
Closure for anyone and everyone. Everyone's dead.
But beyond them spoiling Mystique, I think the problem with it is, they're doing Dark Pheonix again. Okay, I'm trying to think of an example. Has there ever been a movie in its own continuity where it went back and redid the same storyline over?
Back to the Future?
I guess so. Oh, you know what? Star Trek Into Darkness. They did Wrath of Khan again,
But that was a reboot.
but it's still in the same continuity
Because
it's time travel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing with this.
Okay, but to be fair, those ones were good.
Into Darkness.
I don't know. Okay,
I liked the first Star Trek, the new one with Chris Pine. I should say. Anyway, but what was I saying? So yeah, they're doing Dark Phoenix again. Why? There are other X-Men stories.
No, there isn't. All roads lead to Dark Phoenix.
I guess so. But the other thing is too, like, that's a story that is like heavy on you liking these characters.
Mm-hmm.
And while I like Cyclops and Jean Grey and Nightcrawler and Beast or whatever, I don't know who these ones are because you just introduced them in the last movie and didn't do a great job of it. So I don't care about any of them. Kill Cyclops. I don't care. X-Men Last Stand, that was the last time they did Dark Phoenix. And they killed Cyclops off in the first 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I was devastated as a fan because I really liked that Cyclops.
You don't like the Cyclops?
Well, I don't know him. The last time I saw him, was it Apocalypse? That was the last time we saw him?
Honestly, I don't remember any of the movies.
Exactly, right? Like, anyway, so do you have other thoughts about Dark Phoenix?
No.
It doesn't look great. It looks like it's been redone and a bunch of times, and like it looks like Jennifer Lawrence does not want to be there.
It looks like they're phoning it in.
I mean, McAvoy is great. And here's the other thing. Why is Magneto in this? Like, why do they keep bringing back Magneto? Like, don't get me wrong. I love Fassbender. Can't remember his first name.
Michael
Fassbender. But like, Magneto doesn't need to be in every single one of them. You don't need to shoehorn him into the plot every time.
Well, they think he's a ticket seller, right?
Yeah.
Also, it's kind of weird to kill off Mystique. Coming from like a perspective that the X-Men isn't going to end with this movie, it's kind of weird to kill off like one of the big iconic villains.
Well, she's not a villain, right? Because she's one of the X-Men now.
I don't know. Maybe there's a storyline where it converts her.
They've put way too much importance on Mystique, who is like a B character in the X-Men universe. Yeah. Like, it's all because Jennifer Lawrence puts butts in seats, right?
I think it's the other way around, but
seats and butts.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, yeah, Dark Phoenix. I'm not at all excited for it. It'll be something to watch when it comes out, but we'll see.
You mentioned you had some theories about how you would like them to introduce the X-Men to the MCU.
Want to do that now?
I mean, it's a
sure, we can do that.
Similar topic.
I have some X-Men-ish news. I don't know how credible it is, but they said that they're starting to look for X-Men for the Marvel movies. They're going to recast everyone except for Deadpool.
Really?
Yeah. Smart.
Yeah.
Because that's what people go for. They don't go for Deadpool. They go for Ryan Reynolds.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a little bit one and the same now, but
plus I don't know, it'd be hard to find someone to replace that kind of personality.
And I think everyone would be on Ryan Reynolds' side if they recast him. It's just like, I try to get this movie made for 10 years and let me make 2 and you recast me. So
just have him cameo in everyone.
Yeah. And he's just pissed the entire time. He's just in the background pushing down sets.
Yeah, I'd watch that.
Yeah. Meanwhile, you have Josh Gad playing Deadpool. That's it, because that's who the studio would cast. He would fit it, right?
Who's Josh Gad?
Played the snowman in Frozen. You know, he looks like me, but like larger and more Jewish. Yeah, anyway, so they're looking to recast, and so they're looking at mid to late 20s to early 30s for all the X-Men.
Oh.
And then
dang it, I was hoping they'd be a little bit younger.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
And then Xavier and Magneto 35 to 55.
Perfect.
It's a good age. Yeah. But again, though, you don't need to bring Magneto in right away. Like, I'm not saying don't do him. I'm just saying he doesn't have to be in every X-Men movie.
It'd be nice if it was like him playing the role of Thanos almost.
For that franchise?
Mm-hmm. Just kind of in the background, tweaking things around, moving pawns. It'd be kind of neat. And Xavier kind of knowing, but not really.
Yeah, that could work.
I don't know, like introduce a few villains here and there of his like little villain squad, and then the third movie, they all come together, big old Avengers style, take on the X-Men. It'd be kind of cool if the end of Endgame somehow, because it's the Infinity Gauntlet kind of affects a bunch of galaxies, different I don't know if it affects different universes. Pretty cool. Brought the X-Men in from like another dimension.
Okay.
Or if they were dimension hopping to begin with.
So they would already be established then?
Yeah. So they would be a team.
Would you recast?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, get rid of them.
Mm-hmm. Clean slate. Just wipe it.
Even McAvoy and Fassbender?
I don't know who those people are.
You do. You're a liar.
I don't lie.
Do you smell that? What's your pants? They're on fire.
I don't know. I think it'd be, but then I don't know, because I was kind of playing with that too. When I was thinking about that, I was thinking like, oh, that might be better for the Fantastic Four.
Oh, okay.
If they came back from like a big trip from another dimension or something like this. Like, whoa, some stuff happened, or some stuff happened that like rippled into other like universes, and then
I can see that. That makes more sense because they're more dimension hopping already, right?
Mm-hmm. Be weird for them not to be mentioned at all with the Avengers Initiative and all that.
They do have a telepath at the school.
That's true.
But he's, like people show up at the door and be like, "Oh, we detected powers here," and he's like, "These are not the droids you're looking for. Get Ewan McGregor to play Xavier." That would be great.
I can't picture him
bald.
What if he just has hair? What if new Xavier has hair? Would that be weird?
That would be weird. You know, it'd be even weirder explaining how he lost his hair because of a weird Egyptian body transference thing. Instead of him just losing his hair because he's an old person.
I thought you were joking, and I remembered Apocalypse.
Who would your X-Men be? Like what?
I would probably go with the original.
Like
Beast,
like 60s. So
yeah.
Angel, Beast,
Jean.
Iceman,
yeah,
and Cyclops.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's probably who I would go for too.
Wasn't Nightcrawler in that?
No,
or was he part of the 90s?
He was the second string in the 80s. I believe. He joined with Wolverine and Storm.
And Psylocke, right?
She was after. The second one was Colossus, Nightcrawler, Storm, Wolverine, Banshee. He didn't stick around though.
But like, I don't want Beast like Blue Beast. I want old traditional.
Like Gorilla Man?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Would you still have him eventually turn blue?
Yeah.
Yeah. Through his own hubris?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree with that. I would do it that way.
Mm-hmm.
My X-Men movie would be more about the origin of the school.
Would that be like a prequel?
I guess it's very much like First Class, and I'm saying it out loud. Like it would just be the main characters is like Cyclops or Jean or something like that, and it's their like introduction to the school. But there's only 3 other people there. Like it's not like an established school where there's like a bunch of kids running around.
It's like a private school that he's just starting up. It's private tutoring.
Yeah, and so that would also mean that like the birth of mutants is like fairly new. Like he's just kind of finding them now, and so like all of these people showing up are
would they call them mutants, or would they keep with the miracles thing? Probably
mutants, right? Because there's no legal reason for them to not call them mutants.
Yeah, not anymore.
Yeah, I would do that, and then because then it would be more like, oh, I didn't realize there's other people like me, and keep them young, keep them like teenagers. Like you want them like Spider-Man's age.
Yeah, I would. I like the range though, because it'd be weird if the entire team was all teenagers.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Like Cyclops and Jean, maybe, I don't know, early 20s, university age.
Sure.
And then
school age though. Yeah. Like you don't want someone who's 35 there.
Yeah, that's
right. Who's like, please, Xavier, teach me how to use my powers. I'm older than you. That's how I would do it. I wouldn't do Magneto as the first villain, as I've mentioned a number of times already in this episode.
Who would you do?
I don't know, even just like someone else, but it would be that like the X-Men are not supposed to be like a superhero team. Like he's only teaching them how to control their powers. And then there's an emergency that only they know about. And it's like, well, maybe we should use these powers to.
Like maybe it was one of the mutants at the school decided to fight against the humans.
There's an idea. Yeah. I don't know who it would be though.
Because I'm trying to think who else was on Magneto's team in the original team.
Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Mastermind. Toad. Toad was another one.
Oh, they all suck. Not the others. I wouldn't.
Mastermind would be you could do him. There's a lot of illusions and stuff.
That'd be kind of cool.
But yeah, that's how I would do it. Don't do Wolverine. And then maybe you could do him in a sequel, like number 2. but don't do them in the first movie.
Yeah. And then like as the movies go on,
Yes, you add a member
becomes
here and there.
Yeah.
People leave, people whatever.
And then you slowly establish Sentinels, and then you establish Magneto as the big bad.
Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
And then maybe at like the last movie, it's just a 3-way of like X-Men, the Brotherhood of Evil, and Sentinels.
Yeah, that would
is the Brotherhood of Evil or just Brotherhood?
In the comics, they're the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, and
That's
then the movies, they're just like, let's drop the evil because that kind of it makes it
yeah,
like they know that they're evil. Like
no one says I'd be like, I'm the bad guy now.
Unless you're Idris Elba in a Fast and Furious movie. Speaking of Idris Elba, did you hear about the Suicide Squad news?
No.
So Will Smith is out.
Really?
And they're looking at recasting him with Idris Elba as Deadshot.
Those are two very different actors.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Idris Elba can be cool though. You know what I mean? Not that he's not cool, but like that. Woo! This to him,
Yeah, those are two very different people that play very different characters.
Do you want to hear who else is in it?
Yeah.
This could be changed, but this is probably who James Gunn is going to go with. There's Ratcatcher. It's a Batman villain.
Okay.
I don't know much about him. I can't remember if he was in the animated series or not.
Do you think he does his name? He catches rats?
Yeah, he started as an exterminator.
Oh, so like he started off as a
so
cop.
he has like a communion with rats. It's kind of like that movie Willard. Did you ever see that?
No.
Okay, well, he can talk to rats and has words with them and stuff. And he also does poison gas because he's an exterminator. King Shark.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Peacemaker, who I've never heard of in my life.
Sounds like a terrible villain.
According to the write-up, he's someone who believes in peace so much that he's willing to kill for it.
Isn't that what the U.S. does?
Ooh, throw in some shade. And the final one, well, there's debate whether Harley Quinn will show up in it or not. There's no confirmation either way.
I feel like it'd be weird to not include her because of how big of a hit she was.
Right. Well, she's in Birds of Prey, and there's like rumor of a Harley Quinn solo movie, and so it could be too much.
Oh,
Harley.
she did escape in the last movie, didn't she? The first movie, yeah.
Joker showed up at the end, right?
Right.
Anyway, the final member of the Suicide Squad is Polka Dot Man.
The only thing worse could have been like, obviously, it's Stilt Man isn't in the DC universe, but
he would have been great though. Like, because that's the thing, it's Polka Dot Man, so no one's gonna be like ticked off if he just gets a gun blown into his face. Like,
or like X-Force from Deadpool.
Yeah.
Just all get offed.
Yeah, no one's gonna care.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not exactly a well-rounded team for me. I know like two people.
Well, there you go then. Then you are open to be enthralled with them. You learn to love them. It's very Guardians of the Galaxy. I only knew who Drax was.
Oh, really? I only knew who Groot was.
Yeah. That's the lineup for Suicide Squad. Should we get back to the trailers, Victor? Because there was a Hellboy trailer this week as well.
Yeah, it's I think it sold me on a little bit more on the movie than the first one did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he doesn't look nearly as stiff and awkward as he did in the first trailer.
That's fair.
What do you think?
This movie, it hasn't sold me. I'm not interested. I like Hellboy a lot. I've read a few of his comics. He's a cool character. It's a cool world.
Mm-hmm.
This has not sold me.
Fair.
And there's just something. It's because she's an okay actress, but Mila Jovovich plays the villain in this.
Mm-hmm. Was it Queen of Blood or something like that?
Something like that. But she has this quality to her that when I see her in a movie, regardless of how invested I am in it, regardless of how much money is thrown at it, I just know it's going to be crap. It's like...
Is that always the case?
The outlier is Zoolander. That's the only movie I can think. Oh, and Fifth Element.
Wait, she was in Zoolander?
Yeah, she was Mugatu's like...
Wait, that was her?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
What was her name? Katinka Behova or whatever like that. Something
Terrible
like that.
name.
Well, yeah. Anyway, so that and Fifth Element are like the outliers, but every other movie she's been in, like Ultraviolet, all the Resident Evil movies, like they're just crap, and they're expensive crap.
Oh no, that doesn't give me much hope for Monster Hunter.
Oh, of course not. As soon as I saw she was cast in, I was like, oh, this movie's gonna be crap. But what did you think about Hellboy, Victor?
I don't know. It
looks fine.
Looks fine.
You're gonna watch it?
I'll watch it.
Maybe, yeah.
Like I'll watch it, but I'll expect it to be shit.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it does look like expensive trash.
It looks
right?
like it would entertain very well, but I don't expect it to be a good movie.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I don't actually. I have mixed feelings. Because I was saying, I think the last time we talked about Hellboy, I was saying that I wish that he would have more supernatural friends in it, so it's not just him and a bunch of humans.
Mm-hmm.
And then Daniel Day Kim turns into a weird CGI leopard.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
I didn't expect that.
because in that moment right before that, he punches him in the face. He's like, "Hey, let's get ready," and punches him in the face.
Get your game face on.
And he's just like, "Why would you do that to somebody?" And then the next one, you're like, "Oh, hey," because he turns into a leopard trying to make him.
Would
mad.
you kindly Hulk out, please?
Yeah. Yeah. It looks. Yeah. Anyway. Shazam. There's a new Shazam trailer. You remember it at all? Did you watch it?
I did watch it. But I don't know. It looks better.
Looks fun, right?
Yeah.
Looks
it looks really entertaining. I'd say what I expected from Aquaman, pretty much. Like my expectations levels is about the same as it was when I went and watched Aquaman.
Shazam is the only DC movie I've been excited about since they've announced them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Aquaman? Yeah. No, you weren't excited for Aquaman?
Not really, no, because they didn't have a good track record at that point, and I didn't like Jason Momoa's Aquaman, which we talked about.
Mm-hmm.
We did our Aquaman episode, but yeah. So Shazam, I'm excited about it. I really like Zachary Levi. I like that bit where he caught the bus, although everyone would just fall to the front anyway, and it would still be like it hit the ground. It's just 6 feet from the ground now.
Yeah, I don't know. It looked. I like Zach as Shazam. Mm-hmm. He's pretty fun. I like that they kind of call him out on like how much he screws up too.
Yeah,
so
that's fun.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited for it. I'm ready to see it. Let's do it.
When's it come out?
April 5th, I think. Beginning of April.
That's less than a month from here.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Very, very soon. Shall we move on?
Sure.
Victor, Emma Watson, Black Widow. That's what I have written in my notes. Apparently, Black Widow has started casting, and Emma Watson, who played Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter movies,
I'm familiar.
is in talks to play the co-lead. There's nobody knows who she would be playing.
Oh, I thought it'd be like a younger version of her.
Oh no, I doubt it.
I don't know enough about Black Widow.
Yeah, neither do I.
Like say or even guess at what she could be.
Well, there is another Black Widow who was blonde.
White Mantis.
No, I can't remember, Victor. But she was blonde. I can't remember her name. I think it was Yelena or something like that. She could be that. She could be another CIA agent or something like that, or an assassin where they fight.
This is the Y2K movie, right? Or supposedly?
Supposedly. There's no details confirmed or denied about this.
Okay.
To be honest, like there's no indication that's even coming out from Marvel.
I like Emma Watson as an actress.
I do too.
Because like she's played some pretty different roles compared to Hermione. I can't remember which movies, I can't remember what they were, but like I remember seeing them and being surprised at her performances. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what she would do in this role.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see her. And there's also a guy, Andre Holland. He was in Moonlight, and I think If Beale Street Could Talk this year. I don't really know. He's supposed to maybe playing the villain. So he's a smooth-looking black gentleman.
I have no idea who this is.
Yeah, okay. Well, he could be playing the villain, Victor.
Who is he playing in Moonlight?
It was in the last section of the movie.
Okay, I didn't see the last section. I literally only saw like the first quarter of the movie.
Oh, you saw it till the happy ending, and then you turned it off?
No, I think someone was watching it. I walked into the room and I was like, okay.
The happy ending in the middle. Ooh. Anyway, he was in the last section of it.
Gotcha.
Sure. He could be a villain. There's no indication who he's playing, so great. Good for him. I hope he gets it. But they're also maybe looking after Rachel Weisz and Alec Baldwin for supporting roles.
Oh, I think I actually know those people.
Yeah, I'd be fine with that.
Yeah.
All right, that's some Black Widow news. Arrow was canceled.
Really?
Yeah, so it's going to end next season at the end of season 8, and then it's going to be like a limited run. It's only 10 episodes. So it's the end of it, which I'm sure Stephen Amell is maybe happy he doesn't have to work out anymore. Do that stupid
salmon ladder.
Salmon ladder. Why do they call it a salmon ladder? Because you have to like frolic like a fish to get up?
I guess so. I mean, salmon swim upstream, right?
Oh, that's logical.
Yeah,
Sketchy.
I want to try that.
Yeah.
I think I could do it.
I think I need to learn how to do a chin up first, and then I could maybe do it.
Well, there's not much to it. You grab onto the pole, and then you pull up.
Right.
And then you lower yourself down.
Oh.
And then you're...
I've been doing it completely wrong.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I was picturing you doing a push-up. I don't get it. My chin is up.
Why am I not doing a chin up? My chin is up.
First it was down, now it's up.
Yep.
I just found a bowl clip that I was looking for like a month. It was clipped onto the table.
Congratulations. I'm sure you'll be really happy with your bowl clip.
This was my like chip bag bowl clip, so...
Oh, good. You can eat chips again.
I can seal chip bags again. From whence you came.
Disney's still going to release movies under the Fox banner.
Okay.
Did you know that?
No. But wait.
So they bought Fox, but they're still going to have Fox around, and they're going to like release movies. But they would be like, maybe this won't be a Disney movie. Maybe this will be a Fox movie.
Oh, okay. That's fair. So it's like if Disney want them to do a Disney movie, then they can still have it under Disney.
Yeah.
Okay.
They just own more franchises now. So I imagine like X-Men, Fantastic Four, they will move under Marvel. They won't still be Fox movies, but like...
Do you think they bought Fox strictly for those two franchises?
They probably bought them for like their sports channels and stuff like that.
Welcome to Disney Sports.
Like you think about like how many people are into football, like European football.
Mm-hmm.
That would be a lucrative thing. That's like an international cash grab. And probably their stock in other things like Hulu, because now Disney owns the majority of Hulu.
Oh, right.
Thanks
I
to
forgot
Fox
about that.
stocks.
Yeah.
So it probably wasn't just that. That was the thing nerds were excited about. They're like, finally, Wolverine can meet Tony Stark. Oh, Hugh Jackman retired. That was the thing that I always kind of found funny about that, was because Hugh Jackman was like, no, I'm done. I would only do it if we crossed over. But even then, I'm kind of done. And then like, as soon as he finishes filming Logan, they're like, Disney bought Fox. He's like, no, it could have happened.
Wipes his eyes with some $100 bills.
At least I could eat pasta again. Anyway,
did you hear about the cheeseface challenge?
I saw something about it was like a headline, be like, "Don't throw cheese at your baby" or something like that. Tell me what it is. I don't know what it is.
So people are taking like Kraft singles cheese slices,
okay,
and just kind of like tossing on their baby, and it sticks onto their face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's it. There's nothing else.
So it's just for laughs.
Yeah. Some people are loving it. Some people think it's hilarious. And there's the other half that think it is child abuse.
Okay.
As someone with a child, what would you think? Like you're not going into a room, surprising your child and slapping them with a slice of cheese. Like you're in front of them and just gently tossing it onto their face.
It's really hard to because I can see it as like something that we would do, but not. We wouldn't record it and upload it and be like, look at what we did. You know what I mean? Like, because it would be like we're just playing around or whatever. And it would be like we would throw cheese on our face too. Like, it wouldn't be like, hey.
like I don't know. I think that's kind of like a situation where you kind of have to gauge your child as well. Yeah. So it's like if your kids, I don't know, if they're open to that kind of thing, like that kind of play, it's like, yeah, you know what? Go for it. But people are treating it's like, that is the worst thing you could do to a child. Well, you shouldn't have children.
Because it starts with cheese, right? And then the next thing you know, it's the brick challenge.
Oh, that'd be hilarious.
And so you just, what the brick challenge is, you just yell, hey, suck brick, kids. And then you toss it at them.
Is that a Home Alone reference?
Yeah.
Like to me, I don't know, I'd say 75% of the kids in these videos are kind of like, they're shocked, they're stunned. But some of them are like, they're laughing. They like one of them literally picks it up and just like starts eating it.
I wonder how many people, well, no, because moms complain a lot. I was going to say, I wonder how many people who are complaining actually have kids, but But there are moms who would be like, no.
I made the mistake of like reading the comment section on the article, and one was like, you shouldn't do that to a baby. He didn't consent to this, or they can't consent to it.
Oh my gosh! Don't get me started on consent. There are some moms who believe that you should not change a diaper unless the baby has given consent for it.
Are you kidding me?
It's a real thing, and apparently the baby can give consent. They're also dumb by design. Like, that's why we have to take care of them. Dumb as in not smart, not intelligent.
Yeah.
And they don't understand English. So you can't be like, I'm sorry, I would love to change your didiaper, but until you tell me, give me the go ahead, like, this ain't happening. They don't get it.
Just because you're crying.
They need help. They're children. So,
like, I imagine the people that are angry are the ones that like get angry when they sit on whoopee cushions. What is this? I didn't consent to this prank.
How dare you? I am the head of the PTA. I will not stand for a whoopee cushion. Well, yeah, you have to sit on it. Oh, it's late.
Oh, man. All right, moving on. Do you want to jump into our main topic of the episode?
Yeah, sure. We can do that. We watched Captain Marvel tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the 21st Marvel movie.
Sure. Let's go with 21st. I've kind of lost track after 18.
Yeah, I don't know when they're. I think Endgame is the 22nd, so that would make sense mathematically.
It should, unless we have some surprise movie in the between.
I don't think so.
Probably not. What, a month and a half?
Just like right before Avengers comes out. It's like, I know you guys are excited about Avengers, but guess what? There's another Spider-Man movie.
Oh, I was going to guess Mysterio movie. Here's a Mysterio movie.
It would be some lame character.
No one
It's
asked for.
like, here's a MODOK movie.
You guys like Stiltman? Here he is.
You always go to the Stiltman well. I think there's lamer Marvel villains out there other than Stiltman.
Okay, what? Okay, just, all right, pitch me Stiltman real quick.
Why is he cool?
Yeah.
Victor, he can grow as tall as a building.
That doesn't sound stable at all. Can you imagine?
He's wearing bulletproof legs that extend him up at least 6 stories.
So he's susceptible to like birds attacking him.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Moving on.
Oh.
Captain Marvel.
Non-spoiler
review. What do you think?
Good, not great.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's not like good, not great, like Thor, The Dark World, where that's like nearing bad quality, like that's mediocre.
Yeah.
This is like, it's like the first Ant-Man.
Yeah, there's a lot of good parts about it, a lot of good things about it, but it just didn't come together nearly as well as it should have.
Yeah, that's a good way of saying it. But anyways, let's go to spoilers.
All right, you want to do the plot real quick?
Sure. Okay. So the movie starts with Veers on the Kree planet Hala. She's a soldier working for the Kree military. She's been there for 6 years. She has no memory before those 6 years. And they're on a routine mission fighting Skrulls.
Skrulls?
Did I say it wrong?
Yes, you said it right.
Oh, okay. Skrulls. Really pronounce the AW sound.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
You know how I do it?
What?
I picture how it's spelled, because in how it's spelled like skull.
With an R after the R-K.
Right. But now when I try to say it right, I spell it SKRAWL in my head so I can see the word and I pronounce it like that. Anyway, scrawl.
Thank you for that.
Anyway, so they are on a routine mission to find some Skrulls. Veers gets kidnapped and she escapes, and then she ends up on Earth, and then she's like, hey, Earth is kind of familiar. I think I used to be on it before. and then there's some twists and turns, and she fights the bad guys. The end. She becomes a superhero.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nailed it. I wouldn't say it's a standard like origin movie, but
no,
it kind of reminded me of Superman or Man of Steel.
Man of Steel. I was going to say the same thing. Yeah.
But like done a little bit less reliant on the flashbacks.
Yeah. It's because there's lots of flashbacks in it, but every time that there is a flashback, it's like she's actively remembering it. Mm-hmm. It's not like, hey, there's a bus. There's a scene with a bus later. Like it doesn't just cut to it. It's like there's something that reminds her of it, and it's important to the plot at that point.
Or it's because someone is jogging her memory. And like, not to say that one is better than the other. It's just different approach.
No, I'm saying one is better than the other.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
You know what? It's fine. To each their own. I mean, I liked this better.
But you're wrong. All right.
What did you think of Captain Marvel? Like Carol Danvers.
I really liked her. You know, there's a lot of buzz, negativity on the internet about her.
Yeah. Very vocal minority.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't remember why people were upset about her.
Because some men out there will say, I'm assuming they're men, hate women.
Mm. But like, what was their, like, did they have legit reason, or was it?
When the first trailer came out, there was a lot of people who were down on her because she seemed very serious and had no personality, which is fair because they chose a lot of shots where she was very serious and showed very little personality. So that kind of started the fire, I think. And then there was a lot of it that said she was a bad actress and she couldn't act, just despite her Oscar. And, and you know, that she ought to smile more and she'd be prettier if she smiled. Lots of stuff. And I mean, if you don't like this movie, it does not make you a sexist or anything like that. If you're allowed to not like this movie, but there's a lot of people who decided beforehand that they weren't going to like this movie because they decided they didn't want to like Brie Larson.
Because some of the stuff I read about her was that like her acting was kind of off or like flat. You know what? For the majority of it, I really enjoyed her acting. I like her little like sarcastic comments and like
she was sassy. Yeah, sassy but not quippy.
Not like Tony Stark or like Doctor Strange.
Yeah, it was all like in her looks. Like she would react to stuff and it would be in a very sarcastic manner. It'd be very droll.
I went into the movie with that in mind. Like I tried to ignore it, but there were parts that were, she was acting, but it was kind of like, it felt like acting in some parts, primarily when she was talking to Fury at the beginning. Okay. Like I guess I wasn't really used to her like personality at that point. So it did kind of feel like acting.
The whole first maybe 15, 20 minutes of it, where I think that's my problem with the movie. Like, cause everything else after that I enjoyed. Cause it starts off on Kree and they have a lot of information they want you to know. And it's just like the first 10 minutes is just like, okay, so we're Kree. This is what we stand for. We don't like the Skrulls. The Skrulls are these guys and they can shapeshift and they can do all this stuff like this. Oh, by the way, don't mess up because then they're going to send you to the Supreme Intelligence. And when you go to the Supreme Intelligence, only you will see a certain person. No, you can't tell anyone who that is. Okay, because that's a secret. And like, it's just information overload in the first 10 minutes. And it had one of those movie sins where it's like, they have to explain something to the audience. So characters have a conversation in a way that they would never have it. So it's like they're over explaining stuff when it's like both characters know what they're talking about. And so you would not, you know what I mean? Like it would be like if you and I were talking and I'd be like, hey, when I borrow your credit card, could you please give me your personal identification number code so I can put that into the automatic teller machine? Because without it, I won't be able to get it. You know, just be like, can I just get your pen? Like, or whatever. Right. So that kind of bothered me. There was a lot of exposition.
No, I see what you mean, but at the same time, you can also argue that like because of how the Kree are, they're very like by the books, you know, very military-esque. So asking for certain identification codes and going through routines and stuff, I can kind of
I understand that, but I think they over-explained it. Yeah, or they didn't allow the audience to get it through context, or it felt like a lot of stuff was cut in this movie. Just based on what we've seen in the trailers and stuff like that. Like Ronan, who was the villain from Guardians of the Galaxy, was heavily advertised as being in this movie. He had maybe 2 minutes of screen time. Yeah.
And he didn't have his like typical like weird black paint on him either. I kind of threw me off.
It looked weird, right?
Yeah.
He needed his mask.
He looked like one of the guys from the Blue Man Group.
He did.
Like cosplaying as Ronan.
He really did, yeah. You're right. That was the thing that kind of bummed me out because I really like Ronan. When I first watched Guardians of the Galaxy, I was kind of like, yeah, he's a standard villain, whatever. And then I happened to read a few events where he was like an integral part of it. And I was like, man, Ronan is an awesome character. They really wasted him in Guardians of the Galaxy. And so when they announced that he was going to be in this, I was like, good, like add it, like give him some stuff to do. Maybe he could be an integral part of it. And it's like, no, it's 2 minutes. So I was a little upset.
I guess
about
there's
that.
no way for him to even get a part in the sequel to this, right?
Well, it depends when the sequel takes place, because it could be, maybe not
Still
in
in
the
the past.
90s, but shortly after.
Yeah. When does this movie take place?
Okay, well, they gave 2 dates. They said 89 was the explosion that gave her powers, and then 6 years later, so 95.
Guardians of the Galaxy took place
2014, 2015, something like that.
Okay, so yeah, there's
20 teens.
There's a bit of opportunity for them to.
Yeah, like
But
there's enough
I can't
there.
imagine they would go back to before current events.
Again, you don't think so?
I don't know. I don't think so. They didn't do it with Cap.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, there's lots to explore there. There's a few decades. It's not like she's frozen in ice like Cap was, but
That's true. I like the music selection. That's one thing I noticed. Marvel is like crushing it with like their song selections.
oh really?
Yeah.
It reminded me how much I hate grunge music, with the exception of Nirvana. Like the rest is just like,
Oh, really? Every time one came on, I was like, yeah, high school. I don't know. I think it's cool. That scene where she lands in the Blockbuster, it brought back very fond memories of you and me going down to the Blockbuster below our apartment and just spending an hour there looking for a movie to.
and finally deciding on a movie we've already seen before. Yeah. That was nostalgic.
Really, the only references they make was like Blockbuster and Radio Shack.
Yeah, I agree with you. They didn't hammer you over the head with the 90s references and be like, it takes place in the 90s. It was just very much like, it takes place in the 90s.
And
That's
like, I
about
tried
it.
to avoid spoilers as much as I could, but like just every so often I'd bump into something like that. And someone was complaining about all the 90s references they were trying to like shoehorn into the movie. I was like, really? Where?
I mean, she went to an internet cafe and there was some jokes about like how slow the computers were and stuff like that. But like, to me, that's just a funny joke that's not like,
It's not.
remember the 90s? Like it was I don't know. I could see how
Like the only ones I
someone would say
really
that.
remember was the internet cafes, Radio Shack, and Blockbuster. Everything else, like those could be jokes that could take place any time.
Yeah, it's only funny because you look at it and you're like, look, it's Windows 95.
Yeah. So fuck those guys. Overly critical.
One thing I noticed there's an important plot point. Nick Fury at one point, he gets into the elevator with his boss. And he made the point earlier. Everyone calls him Fury. Nobody calls him Nick. Nobody calls him Nicholas. It's just Fury. And then he gets into the elevator with his boss, and his boss says, "Way to go, Nicholas." And so he's just like, "Oh, so you're a Skrull." The little continuity error. Here's where my nerd comes out.
Oh shit.
Both Captain America and Black Widow have called him Nick in
I
in
thought
the Winter Soldier. They both call him Nick at one point.
I guess this is before. So it's technically everyone up to this point.
That's true.
It's called him Fury.
Yeah. After it helped him find a spy, he was like, you know what? People could call me Nick.
I thought it was funny because she says like, okay, well, what do you call your mom? Because Fury's the last name. It's like, what do you call your mom? Fury. You imagine someone just in his household calling out Fury and everyone answers.
Yes. But they're always yelling though, because there's Samuel L. Jackson's family.
That's true. If anything, he's the quiet one of the family. What'd you think of the de-aging that they did on
I
Sam
forgot
Jackson?
about it.
Yeah, right?
The only Coulson was they did it both on Coulson and Nick Fury. Coulson every now like there's a few shots with him where I'd be like, oh, I can see it, but Fury, you forget about it.
The only time I noticed Fury was when he got out of the elevator with his boss. And that was the only time that just looked a little bit off to me.
You know when I noticed it is when he would take off his jacket and he would be like this thin young man. I'd be like, you're not that. Like that's the body double. That was the only time I really noticed it.
Did you notice that Brie Larson almost always had her fists clenched? Is it weird that I noticed that? It like pulled me out of the movie.
Are you a hand guy? You have a hand fetish?
I don't think I do. I don't think I do.
Did this awaken something in you?
Yeah, like every scene, like she's standing, like, you know, there's like she come out of an elevator or like she come through a doorway and it's just her silhouette. And her hands are clenched. And it's like, that doesn't look comfortable. It's not a big deal. I just didn't print that out.
What else? How else did it tie into the other ones?
Like the other movies?
Well, the Tesseract was the main
Yeah, the
thing.
Tesseract was the core they were after.
I saw someone online say that the Tesseract has been in more movies than Hawkeye.
Oh, shit. That's hilarious.
Nick Fury loses his eye in this movie. In
The worst.
Yeah, I didn't like the way that it did it.
Yeah. So we had Goose, the cat.
Should we talk about Goose for a little bit, and then we'll go back to his eye?
Sure. So at one point we came across a cat in...
It was Pegasus, which I think was the same base as the beginning of the Avengers, the one that blows up because of the Tesseract.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's what it was. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was Project Pegasus was the opening of the first Avengers movie.
Interesting. What was because while they're on Earth, they're looking for a Kree that was undercover as a human.
Yeah, Annette Bening's character, her name was Marvel.
Yeah.
So she's the original Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember her Earth name.
Wendy Lawson.
Lawson, that was it. So they end up finding her base.
One of the clues was she was wearing a ID tag that said her name and then Pegasus underneath. So they searched Pegasus and they found this base. So they went to this air base.
Yeah, they went to the air base, and that's when they found the cat. And that's the part you see in the trailers where Sam Jackson is
fondling the cat, petting. Oh, we'll say petting, enthusiastically petting,
showing it a lot of affection. And turns out this cat is a flurkin. Is that my favorite?
Yeah,
flurkin. There's no context to what a flurkin is. It's just the fact that the Skrulls are terrified of it.
With reason.
Yeah.
As we soon find out.
I still don't know exactly what it is, but the cat opens his mouth and like these weird tentacles come out and basically murders whatever's in front of it.
Yeah. So that's from the comics. So I knew to expect that. It apparently has a pocket dimension in its belly.
Makes sense. Why wouldn't it?
And so it can just hold whatever into its mouth and it's like in its own dimension and intact despite its size. So yeah, it's pretty gross.
So I think it eats like what, 3 soldiers?
Yeah,
it eats the Tesseract. And then near the end of the movie, Fury's holding the cat, giving it a bit more affection, and it claws his eye.
Yeah.
It's just a scratch. Like the cat's like, I'm sick of your shit, put me down, and then it's a swipe.
Yeah. Well, that was the joke. They go, "Oh, Fury, are you all right?" And he's like, "It's just a scratch." And then they go to Talos, the head Skrull, and he's like, "Oh no, it's not just a scratch." And then the next scene, he's being fitted for a glass eye.
Yeah.
Which again, Winter Soldier, he has his dead eye still in his face. So maybe he decides not to do a glass eye. Mm-hmm. But there's another continuity here that bothered me. You know what it was? He kept going around saying, "This is a shield. In the first Iron Man, they were strategic homeland intervention, whatever it stands for. They hadn't shortened it yet.
There's no way that someone would have like made that company and not thought, spell shield.
It's just like, it's not until 2005
some outlier was like,
did you notice this spells shield? We didn't even have to move the letters around. Like that works.
How did I miss that?
Dave, you're promoted. I don't know how much paper you've saved, but that's my nerd showing through.
I dig it.
It's fine.
That's why you're on this podcast.
Oh, thank you.
To inform people like me who know nothing about Goose.
Because I remember stuff, right?
Well, what'd you think of the Kree and Skrulls designs?
I really like the Skrulls. The Kree, I wish they had gone even further with their individual designs because there was a little bit of difference between their outfits, but like not much. They looked like they were all wearing the same thing.
Yeah, honestly, I didn't really notice any difference between all of them, except for the only one I noticed difference between Carol's and Jan-Rod.
Yeah, that was the other thing. With again, this is something that I didn't enjoy about this movie is I wish they had spent more time with the Kree. So like,
or at the very least, Jan-Rod.
I think there's a appropriate amount with him. I liked Jude Law quite a bit, but even just her team, because there's the whole thing where she's part of like basically like SEAL Team 6 at the beginning, and then at the end she has to fight all of them, and I was just like, I don't like. I feel like I'm supposed to care about this, but I don't. And like, there's even a point where there's the only other chick on the team, Minerva, I think her name was. Like they just said something along the lines of just like, you knew all along. Is that why we never hung out? And she's like, no, I just didn't like you. Did you not like her? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You did not spend enough time.
I guess it's because that team wasn't really relevant to the story.
I guess so.
Because he almost treat them like henchmen, right? Like the only thing that made them special was that they all had different weapons from each other.
And they looked a little different, right?
Yeah.
The way that they sold this movie with the trailers. They showed a lot of them. And so I was expecting to see a lot of them, and they really weren't in it that much. I didn't catch most of their names. All the names I've caught are from the marketing of the movie, not from the actual movie. Like, I couldn't tell you who the big guy with the beard was or the other blue guy.
One of them you actually see in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, that's right. Korath returns.
Yeah.
Did he die? I don't know. That's the other thing.
I was thinking about that.
Like, did she kill all of her team?
They do a big fight in Mar-Vell's ship that's orbiting Earth. But like they end up taking that ship. So there's no explanation on what happened to the her old team.
Minerva, I think, dies because she blows up in a ship.
Makes sense.
Jude Law doesn't. She sends him back to Hala.
Would you say she's not because she's from Earth, she's not a Hala girl? Hala back girl? Okay.
Victor, mind. There ain't no Hala back girls. There you go. I saved the joke for you. Yeah, so that was the thing that really I didn't like about it. But we didn't talk about this. Skrulls are actually the good guys. Mm-hmm. That was the big midpoint twist of the movie. So Talos, this guy that she's been hunting since the beginning of the movie, turns out he's just a refugee. He's not really a general like they make him out to be.
Like his motives was basically to find where Mar-Vell's lab was, because that's where his family is. That's where a bunch of his Skrulls are. The movie's basically about him trying to find that location. But the Kree think they're just trying to infiltrate different planets and take over. Because like, I don't know, I feel like they don't give enough information because like I know in the comics they're the bad guys, but in this movie they don't give enough context to convince me that they're not all good.
I wish it was less black and white, because it turns out, so the Kree are bad, Skrulls are actually good. And we think it's the reverse at the beginning. And I wish it was more like Skrulls are still bad, but this group is fine.
Yeah.
Like there's good and bad humans.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Yeah, but I really liked Talos, the Ben Mendelsohn's character. Yeah. He was hilarious. And
because at one point he confronts Carol like in her friend's home. And he just walks in, he just wanders and is like, hey, need your help.
And he's very funny, like in a just a charismatic way. Like it's not like fish out of water thing or anything like that. He's just a funny person.
Yeah,
and he's a good character. Like he has levels.
Actually, all the characters in this movie were pretty good. I can't think of one character that stood out to me as like in a negative way.
There was underdeveloped characters, but I don't think there was any like bad characters.
No.
But the nerd in me wishes we had seen the Supreme Intelligence as what it is in the comics, which is just a giant green head in a jar. I wish we had seen that. Like, even if it was like, because in the movie, when you talk to the Supreme Intelligence, it presents itself as someone from your past who you respect or something like that. So for the Carol, it was Annette Bening's character. I really wish, because there's a point in it where she's talking with the Supreme Intelligence and breaks out of its hold. I really wish for just a split second you would have saw the giant head. Like, just be like, yeah, that's what it looks like. Want to know another thing that bothered me? They end up going to Monica's ranch, I guess, like in the farmhouse. Yeah. This is where Talos reveals himself, that he's actually a good guy. Monica was Carol's old best friend back when she lived on Earth, and has no memory of her, but they discover her in the clues and they go to find answers. And so it's where she remembers a lot of the stuff, whatever. So Talos shows up with one other science guy, Skrull.
Yeah. They actually label him as a science guy.
The science guy. And so there's just a quick scene of this, but they all take off to go into the climax of the movie, but they leave the science guy on Earth to pretend to be Carol. And so Jude Law shows up and they talk with each other, and then Jude Law quickly figures out that he is a Skrull and shoots him and kills him. And I was just like, okay, if you're refugees, like, this isn't a necessary thing. Like, you don't need to throw Jude Law off your scent. Like, this is a suicide mission. There's no way he's not going to find out eventually.
Yeah.
Right. Like, so I was just like, why would you just be so flippant with your guys' lives?
Yeah. Very, just expend whoever you have.
Yeah.
See, yeah. At this point, because they land on Earth with 4, like a total unit of 4, including Talos.
Oh, by the way, if you're not familiar with Skrulls, they're shapeshifters. They can turn into other people. They call it simming in the movie, and they can also telepathically read like the few recent memories of the person they're pretending to be. Sorry, I just feel like we should clarify that. I'm sorry, I cut you off. I don't remember what you're saying.
I have no idea either.
What did you think of the makeup on the Skrulls?
That was great. It really only stood out maybe a few times when they were fighting.
Yeah.
But aside from that, like their transformation CGI is really cool.
Yeah, it's almost like their skin is exploding.
Yeah. Or like it's almost like they melt. Like it reminds me of like a burn victim.
Yeah, it's like it's
through.
bubbling and then yeah.
And then like it's I like it.
Yeah.
Actually, when they first land on Earth, they take the form of 4 surfers.
Yeah.
At that point, I think I whispered to you, "It's like, oh shit, it's Point Break."
That would be a cool Point Break remake. They're aliens.
They just do their entire movie in like their swimsuits.
Yeah. There was another little thing that bothered me. This is like nitpicky now.
Yeah.
But Carol doesn't have any memory of Earth. When she goes down to Earth, she doesn't really understand the blockbuster that she lands in. She goes and talks to security guard and says, "Where's your communication device?" And he points to a payphone. So she doesn't know what a phone is. But then there's a line later where Fury mentions toast, and she's like, like, remember, because they're doing the Skrull test, and she says, tell me something about yourself that a Skrull would definitely not know. And he said, if toast is cut diagonally, I can't eat it. And then so she goes like, that's funny or whatever, and it's just like, how do you know what toast is? Do they have toast on Hala? Yeah. And that one is like, okay, maybe they discovered bread like on Hala, but that one is fine. But the other one that bothered me, there was one point in it where Fury says to her, "Take off the flannel," and she just knew what he was talking about and took off her flannel.
Yeah, I noticed that
shirt, and I was just like, how does she know what that is? What did you think of just the Fury and Carol like together? Like they not together. They don't get together romantically in this, but like their relationship.
They work together very well. It does play like a buddy cop movie.
Yeah, really well. This has nothing to do with what I just asked, but when the movie started and they got to Earth, I really felt pretty much till Talos revealed himself that it should have been Fury as the main character.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I really felt it should have been Fury's point of view, because I was like, I'm having a hard time relating to Carol because she doesn't know who she is. So it's like, I don't know who you are either. And
she's kind of closed off for a good chunk of the movie.
Mm-hmm. And then again, when Talos shows up, and that's when it turns, because that's when she figured out who she is. And you're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I really thought it should have been Fury. Followed him on, who just gets this strange case, and he meets this extraordinary woman. And
I'm okay with the way they did, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's because it for the audience too, you're kind of new to this world too, because it's been so long since the 90s, right? So it's like kind of getting into that, I don't know, fish out of water thing, because it kind of puts us there in her shoes too a little bit.
I guess so.
What do you think of so Carol, Captain Marvel is supposed to be one of the strongest characters in the MCU, if not the most powerful that we've been introduced to so far. What do you think about that?
I don't care either way, like which character it is. It is a little. I did notice when she just like flies through a ship at the end.
Yeah,
where
sure.
I was just like, okay, so this character can kind of do anything. So I am curious how they make her more relatable in the future, because she's not that for the entire movie. It's not until the end of the movie that she kind of realizes I can unleash more.
Because it puts her almost on the same level as Thor, if not a little bit higher.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess now we have 2 characters that are crazy powerful.
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't bother me that it's her, you know, but it's more just how are they going to make it relatable? How are they going to introduce stakes with?
It's a Superman problem, right?
Yeah.
I do like that you could tell she was having fun with her powers though.
Yes. Yeah, I did like that.
Because there's a few like woohoos here and there as she's fighting. And she's like grinning the entire time. So it's kind of cool. I like that. I like that she's like, there's a character that we have that enjoys their powers.
This is just a random thought. You know how at the end of the movie, Rambo is flying the Quinjet and Minerva is chasing her down. They go down to Earth and they're in the desert and they're flying through the canyon. Yeah. I'm 70% sure that's the same canyon from Independence Day.
It looked a little familiar.
Right?
100%.
Like the one where Will Smith is dogfighting the alien, and at the end they crash and he goes, "Welcome to Earth," and punches him in the face.
And then wraps him in a parachute.
Yeah, I'm 70% sure that was the same canyon.
That entire scene was probably CGI'd. So do you think they would go through that and CGI that canyon?
There's a lot of nerds out there, Victor.
That is true. You are correct.
A lot of nerds have those types of jobs. So Anyway, that was just a random thought. Should we do the post-credit scenes?
Post-credit scenes. Yeah, sure.
I'll tell you what. Let's do the funny one first. Let's do the last one, and then we'll talk about the end game stuff.
Sure.
So, so the big reveal that that Goose is a Flurkin. Carol at one point holds out the Tesseract and says, "Here, Fury, take this." And he says, "I'm not holding it." And then the cat opens its mouth and swallows it. Yeah. And everyone's like, "Whoa, that's crazy. He has tentacles in his mouth." That was their exact response. That I'm not even. That's like pitch point acting. Sorry, it's really late. Anyway, so Goose swallows it, and then so the after credit scene is Goose throwing up the Tesseract
on Fury's desk.
Yeah, but the first post credit scene.
Yeah, it's I'd say almost right after Infinity War. They're back at Avengers base. It's Cap, Banner, Black Widow, and Rhodey. And I guess they're just looking at some monitors, basically counting up the missing people in the world. Mm-hmm. And it's tallying up. And then it shows the pager that Fury had at the end of Infinity War that was paging Carol Danvers. Mm-hmm. And they have it hooked up to a machine, basically powering it to keep the battery going. And it turns off. And they're all kind of gathered around it, trying to figure out why it turned off and see if they should send the signal again. And then Captain Marvel shows up, asking where Fury is.
Yeah, and that's the end of the scene.
Yeah. It's pretty short.
Yeah. What did you think of Carol's hair?
It's longer.
I didn't like it.
No?
No. It's very long, very straight, and it looks very much like a wig.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I liked it. I like that they said. I like that we didn't get too much by like it was the equivalent of what did we get from was it at the end of Winter Soldier?
Which were you talking about?
We got the setup for Civil War where they find Bucky.
I think that was Ant-Man, but yeah. You're talking about the scene where with
Bucky's arm is in the
in the vice, yeah.
Yeah, so it's the equivalent of that. Like I wonder if it's going to be a scene. It has to be a scene.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think we'll get an extended version of that. Mm-hmm. She also had cool, like her shoulder pads were like all gold now. Like she had
a little more prominent.
Yeah, I really liked those. Her shoulders. Do you want to talk about the crowd? How many times they cheered in our movie?
Actually, at the beginning of the movie, we had a tribute to Stan Lee. So
I was like, I almost leaned over to you and be like, I can't believe I'm going to cry in the first 5 minutes of this movie.
Because the opening credits for the Marvel logo, they show just a bunch of clips from the previous Marvel movies. Mm-hmm. But instead of clips from the Marvel movies, it's clips of Stan Lee's cameos.
Yeah, that was nice.
Yeah, that was really nice.
It poked my heart. Yeah, and then after it did the Marvel Studios logo, it said "Thank you, Stan," and our audience erupted with applause. There was one guy even yelled out, "What did he yell out? I love you, Stan," or something like that.
Something like that.
We love you. So yeah, that was sweet.
Mm-hmm. It was a little cringy, but it was nice.
It was cringy when people started clapping. Because I was just like, "Oh, that's nice," and everyone was like, "Yeah."
That was a nice little tribute to Stan Lee.
Yes, it was. And I always find it weird when people clap in a theater.
Yeah, especially when the movie ends. It's like, who are you clapping for?
Yeah, because it's like, well, I'm glad other people enjoyed it, but like none of the people who made it are here.
Yeah, no one involved was here.
Yeah.
Maybe they're clapping for the audience who sat through a 2-hour movie, I guess.
Okay.
Good job, everyone. No one died.
Here's the other thing. How is it at this point? It's been 10 years. How is it that people don't realize that there are post-credit scenes? Because every time I'm in a Marvel movie, half the audience gets up and leaves. I'm sure there's some people who are like, well, I'm going to get to my car before everyone else gets there. Yeah. I don't care about this post-credit stuff. But there's some people who you see are walking out and then the post-credit scene comes up and they're like, oh, well, Becky, look, or whatever, right? And you're just like, how do you not know by now that it's happening? Mm-hmm. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just going to go with the fact that like some people just don't care.
I guess so. Anyway, we're kind of just spinning our wheels here.
Yeah. Do you want final thoughts and wrap it up?
Sure.
Overall, what do you think?
I liked it. I will probably watch it again at some point. I most definitely will. It's not terrible. Mm-hmm. It's probably on par with like Doctor Strange and Ant-Man and some of the other more recent origin movies. Mm-hmm. Great characters, fun. It's a Marvel movie. You know, it doesn't do anything egregious or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I am a little ticked that it was the cat that made Fury lose his eye, but I'll get over it. It's a movie.
Yeah. Yeah,
What
I don't know.
about you?
Same feeling. Like I'd say it's the same thing for me as Black Panther. Like there's a lot of good things about this movie, very few bad things, but it's just the way everything kind of came together wasn't nearly as clean as it could have been.
Yeah. There's a lot of editing in this movie, and I feel like this movie was a lot longer and it had been edited down to either fit the runtime or for pacing or something like that. Because
Understandable.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for checking us out again this week, guys. It's been another episode of The Average Uninformed. If you want to leave a comment, please leave a comment. And if you want to hit us up directly, you can email us at averageuninformed@gmail.com. And we'll talk to you next week. Bye.
Bye.